Premier League fans, it's match week 35. The title race continues. I'm Oscar Moneyball, and in this video, I'll be using my cutting-edge match simulator to help us predict the scores, win probabilities, and goal-scoring opportunities for each one of this weekend's games. We have 10 games this weekend. We're back. My weekends just don't feel the same without a full slate of Premier League soccer. Despite the FA Cup semi-final, I understand that, but it just doesn't feel the same. Waking up on Saturday, drinking my coffee, hanging out with my daughter and my wife, just doesn't feel the same without having multiple games going on at the same time. Maybe I just like the stress of that, but we're back, and I'll be using, like I mentioned, my match simulator to go over the first match of the weekend is West Ham versus Liverpool. And let's transition over to make sure we show that correctly. There we go. West Ham hosting Liverpool. West Ham just got destroyed by Crystal Palace. Who would have expected that? Crystal Palace team that's just picking up form, but we're not talking about them just yet. They'll be coming up in a bit. West Ham, what are we up to? What are we up to? Will you hand this victory like this in a silver plate to Liverpool? It looks like it. Expected goals for West Ham 1.0 versus Liverpool's 2.0. Very clean number there for both of these teams. Win probability, West Ham United 19% to win this match versus Liverpool's 58% to win this match. It looks like Liverpool will continue to put up a fight for the title and try to take it into the last match week, which will be, that is exactly what I think we all want. We want this to be down to the wire. You know, we don't want to be celebrating a winner when there's still games to play. I think that's what separates the Premier League from the other leagues, is that there's seasons that are just magical like this one, and I expect that to be the case for this season. The over 0.5 goals is 63% for West Ham versus 85% for Liverpool. Really high for Liverpool to score one goal for this match. The over 1.5 goals is 27% for West Ham, 58% for Liverpool, and we move forward. Second match, Fulham receiving Crystal Palace. Expected goals for Fulham 1.6 versus 0.9 goals. Win probability for Fulham is 53% versus Crystal Palace 22% to win this match. The over 0.5 goals is really high for Fulham, 79%, 59% for Crystal Palace. Over 1.5 goals for Fulham, 47%, 24% for Crystal Palace. What do I think about this game? I actually, before making this video, my guess would have been Crystal Palace takes this game just because of the recent form in which Crystal Palace is in. This match simulator does not take that into consideration. It's mostly just based off the entire, season, whether they're playing at home or away and using their attacking and defensive strengths. I would expect both teams to score on this one, and that's how I play it there. Fulham and Crystal Palace, both teams to score. I'll be happy to see that. Match 3, Manchester United hosting Burnley. Burnley destroyed Sheffield in that bottom of the table battle that they had last week. Manchester United also has been having pretty good recent form lately. They do have to aspire to compete for European competitions next season, so they have something to play for. Burnley has something to play for. Expected goals for Manchester United, we have 2.0 versus 1.1 for Burnley. Win probability is in favor for United to win this match. United and their soft boys, Rashford and others, they just have a really soft team. Win probability for Burnley is 22%. The over 0.5 goals for Manchester United is really high, 84% versus Burnley's 67% to score one goal. The over 1.5 goals for Manchester United is 56%, and Burnley is at 31%. I would put my eggs in one basket, keep it simple. Manchester United will win this match, And I'm sorry for Burnley. If Burnley is able to surprise us all, great. I wish you guys the best. Match 4, Newcastle United hosting Sheffield United. I mean, we don't even have to go over that, right? We know who's going to take this match, but it's the entertaining part. Let's get into the details of what we could expect. Newcastle United expected goals 3.1 versus Sheffield United 0.7. Win probability for this one, we see Newcastle taking this game 74% versus 5% for Sheffield United. The over 0.5 goals for Newcastle, really, really high, 86% versus 45% for Sheffield. The over 1.5 goals in this one, Newcastle United is at 71, Sheffield is at 14. However, I know we're all expecting Newcastle to win. Sheffield United, have they accepted their fate? I'm thinking they won't. I'm thinking they haven't accepted that yet. And I would expect them to put up a fight against Newcastle. Although it is Newcastle at home. Newcastle at home is like, you're expected to lose there. They are really, not lose necessarily, but it's just going to be a tough game for you. Newcastle at home they have a really good attacking strength and defensive strength at home. We'll see how it plays out. Match 5, Wolverhampton versus Luton Town. Luton Town got destroyed last week by Brentford, and Wolverhampton have just been in a negative downwards trend this last half of the season. They pulled a couple of upsets during the beginning of the season and in the winter. Now they're getting into reality, and we're starting to see a Wolverhampton squad that is just not as strong as they used to be. Wolverhampton expected goals 1.9 versus Luton Town 1.2. Win probability for this one, we see Wolverhampton are the favorites, 51% to win this game, 25% for Luton Town to win this one. The over 0.5 goals is at 83% for Wolverhampton, 69% for Luton Town. The over 1.5 goals for Wolverhampton is 54% versus 34% for Luton Town. And another team that's just fighting in the bottom of the table, Luton Town. We have all these teams that are in the bottom of the table, and the only one that seems to have the edge here to, climb up get some points and walk away with 3 points is Everton. Everton hosting Brentford at home. Everton expected goals 1.3 versus 1.2 for Brentford, despite them destroying Luton Town away last week. Everton have been in good form. They did win against Liverpool. They have confidence. Their win probability versus Brentford is 38% versus Brentford's 35%. The over 0.5 goals for Everton is 72% versus 70% for Brentford. The over 1.5 goals is 37% versus 35% for Brentford. Everton are clear favorites. Not clear. It's a very even game. But if Everton do want to make a difference versus the rest of the 3 teams that are destined to lose, which is Burnley, Sheffield, and Luton Town, this is your match. This is your match. Match 7, we have potentially one of the best... one of the top 3 games of this weekend. We have Aston Villa hosting Chelsea. Expected goals for Aston Villa is 2.5 goals versus Chelsea's 1.6. Win probability for Unai Emery's squad is 54% versus Pochettino's 23%. The over 0.5 goals in this one, really high for Aston Villa, 86% to score 1 goal. Chelsea, 75% to score 1 goal. We seem to have high percentages for both of these teams to score 1 goal. This could be a both teams to score match right there. The over 1.5 goals for this one is 66% for the Unai Emery squad, and over 1.5, 43% for Chelsea. Aston Villa, as I like to say, are a really strong team. They do want to stay in 4th place. They have Tottenham and a couple of other teams trying to push them down. This could be the game that determines whether they show their true strength or not. I know they already played some really tough games and they've passed their test, specifically versus Arsenal. Aston Villa, I would say if you want to win this match, as I like to say, you have to score over 1.5 goals in this one, especially versus Chelsea that are really good at attacking, really bad at defending. Match 8 is Bournemouth versus Brighton. Brighton just lost 0-4 versus Man City in the middle of the week. Bournemouth just haven't been ending the season in the best form. However, maybe they're comfortable. They're comfortable that they're not in the lower half of the table. Bournemouth expected goals 1.3 versus 1.4 for Brighton. Win probability for Bournemouth is 36% versus 38%. Very even match. Over 0.5 goals for Bournemouth is 73% and 74% for Brighton. The over 1.5 goals is 38% for Bournemouth, 59% for Brighton. Brighton are the favorites according to the match simulator. I'd be hands off on this one. There's no clear winner. Probably the ones that pay the best in the sports books, but that's not what we're here for. Match 9 is Tottenham hosting Arsenal. Tottenham at home are really solid. Although Arsenal's away form is much better than they are much better away than they are at home. Therefore, they are the favorites to win this one and continue with making things entertaining for us for the title race. Expected goals for Tottenham 0.8, 2.1 for Arsenal. Win probability for Tottenham is 13% versus 65% for Arsenal. The over 0.5 goals for Tottenham 54%. 85% for Arsenal, over 1.5 for Tottenham, 18% and 59% for Arsenal. We move forward to the last match. Match 10, Nottingham Forest hosting Manchester City. Manchester City have been able to score 4 games in the past couple of games. Their form has been incredible. Not talking about Champions League specifically, but just in the Premier League. Even against Real Madrid, they did really good. They just weren't able to score. Expected goals, Nottingham Forest, 0.9 goals. Manchester City, 2.1. Win probability, 15% for Nottingham Forest. Manchester City, 65%. The over 0.5 goals for Nottingham Forest is 57% versus 85% for Manchester City. Over 1.5, 21% for Nottingham and 58% for Manchester City. Just for entertainment value, what would be some bets that I would see taking place here? I would go with Liverpool to... Liverpool have just been weird lately. I'd be hands off Liverpool. I'd go Fulham to score. Manchester United to win. Wonder what that'll pay. That'd be a double right there. I'd go both teams to score between Everton and Brentford. And Newcastle over 1.5 goals. Both teams to score between Wolverhampton and Luton Town. Aston Villa over 1.5 goals. And I'll probably be hands off there. I'll let unless, you know what, since the highlight of this video was talking about the title race, I just go for entertainment value. Liverpool straight win. Parlay that with Arsenal to win, straight win, and Manchester City straight win, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy what that does, because I am a firm believer that this will go into the last match week. And we'll be seeing one of those historic moments where all of the 3 matches of who they're playing against. Arsenal's match, Liverpool's match, and Manchester City's match will all be played simultaneously at the same time. And it's just going to be one for the history books. Let's make sure we transition over. Yeah, as I mentioned, that wraps it up for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this going to be one of those historic seasons for the Premier League? Is this going to be something that we will be looking back at and just smiling, nodding our heads like, yeah, we witnessed that? Because this title race has been entertaining. It's no longer just a 2-legged race. It's 3 teams competing for one spot, the championship of the Premier League. And whether there's been a lot of controversy whether the English Premier League might be not as high of a quality than others. In other leagues we have clear winners, and this one's a entertainment. This one's a soap opera. It has that factor. You just want to watch it, right? The entertainment is so good. But enjoy your weekend. Hug your loved ones. Drink some water. Take a shot for me. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.